What is up, everybody? Welcome to this episode where I have my friend Jeff on. Jeff's a PowerHouse member, and he recently used the C4 method, which is content, community, conversations, and conversions, which is something that we talk a lot about in PowerHouse and a lot of our brands. This is kind of how we run all of our companies. And he sold out an NFT project from never doing it to doing it twice in the span of 2 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah, 14 days.
How much did you guys do?
Overall, 2.5.
In 2 weeks?
In 2 weeks.
Gas. Okay, so I got my boy Jeff here, and we're going to talk a little bit about how that was done, how to do $2 million plus in a couple of weeks using the C4 method because you joined PowerHouse. That's really the truth. That's why this happened. But nonetheless, welcome, brother. Welcome to Late Talks with Los.
Late Talks with Los. No, it's always good to be here. Always good to hang out with the boys.
So let's bring this to the beginning. Well, kind of fast forward a little bit. And so we met through one of our business partners, Mike Roddy. You were doing a company called Direct Heroes. We used it in one of the companies that we run. And then you came to one of the PowerHouse events, joined PowerHouse. We've become very close since. And some stuff happened with Direct Heroes where you kind of pivoted and went into the crypto NFT space because you knew a lot about it, connected with the right guys and stuff like that. And then you created this launch. But give me a little bit of context from there, just kind of what made you guys create this offer and kind of how did it start, like C4-wise? Explain the product, and then we'll start talking about how we took it, how you did it in like 4 phases, and how you scaled it out and crushed it.
Well, the big thing for us, though, the name of the project is called The Trip.
Mm-hmm.
People look at it and it's like, oh, well, I'm taking a trip. I'm taking a micro dose or whatever this may be, taking a trip on some sort of psychedelic.
Love it.
Our thought process behind it was we all have a trip, we all have a journey from our past, from business or personal life or whatever it is.
Facts.
And we wanted people to connect to some sort of story behind what we were trying to tell. And it's like join us on the trip of a lifetime. So it's just like really telling that narrative, that storyline behind it. So 13 months ago when the animation actually started, my business partner Harry on the actual project, he started building it in a way where it's like I really want to connect to people in individual scenes on different aspects of their life. So our first NFT drop was a fractionalized animation scene. So there was 10 different scenes with different levels of rarity behind it, but each individual scene actually represented a different part of somebody's life. So there was happy scenes, there was dark scenes, there was light scenes, whatever we want to look at. Art is very subjective, and so is business itself. So we really wanted people to be able to look at the art and look at the scene itself in these individualized scenes and how it can connect to where you are right now. So it was the metaphor of somebody's personal journey to where they are. And that's where we really wanted to connect. This gave us the ability to really connect with people on that personal level. We had people coming into our Discord community and were like, well, I really had a tough day. I read this one scene, I watched it, and I knew my day was really tough, but I was able to read the other scenes and it was able to bring me more light in my day. So we really built the storyline behind everybody's individual journeys, and we really wanted to tell that story behind okay, everybody goes through something, highs, lows, in-betweens and outs. It's just like how we connect to people and how we communicate with them to be able to tell that story, to be able to either break through or get to that next level.
I love it. So let's break this down into like 4 quadrants of how you went from the idea to the process of, let's just call it C4, content, community, conversations. Then you converted everybody and crushed, which would be the 5. And then you... or now, we'll talk a little bit about what you're doing with it afterwards. But so when you guys had the project, everything was ready. What is the content that you created that got people to the Discord?
For us and in marketing in general, not necessarily NFTs, it's making content very digestible and something that's very welcoming. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of things out there. So what we did for our content was we took something that was extreme, let's say, in the Web3 NFT world. And again, business in general, there's a lot of noise. There's people doing multiple things that are very similar. How can we separate ourselves from everybody else? So we really wanted to create what we call the cute content strategy, which is like we take something that's very overwhelming to regular people and make it cute and digestible, so that if somebody at the age of 2, 3, 5, somebody at a younger age, they could look at it and be like, I like this because of X, Y, and Z. So we were really able to communicate through our content from taking, again, such a drastic product and making it very cute and very digestible. And that was the storyline in the very beginning. Once we took that content and that strategy behind it, it's like, okay, now how in the 5 week span, because we only had 5 weeks to market it as well.
Right.
It's like, how do we tell the story behind the actual product launch itself? So what we did, and again, this is, there's multiple facets of actually communicating, whether it's verbal like we're doing right now, or you look at something, or like people watching this podcast right now, we're technically communicating with them without actually communicating with them.
Right.
So we wanted to, again, tell the story through the cute content of bringing people on that trip and bringing people on that journey. So it's like, what's the end goal and how do we work backwards from it? So through our cute content, through the other projects on the actual platform itself, we started to connect with the other projects, and we started picking up other projects through our content to bring them on this journey. So as we started rolling out the marketing, it was, okay, we picked up this project. Now they're joining us. So we started bringing in their communities into ours because we made it easy and digestible, again, to relate with us and build that relationship just through simple content communication.
And that was all through Insta.
It was all through Twitter. We didn't
all through Twitter.
Yeah, we did a little bit on Instagram, but
what's your Twitter handle so people can see it?
The Trip. It's easy at
the trip.
At the Trip.
Sick.
Yeah, we got OGs on Instagram.
Nice.
Too. The Trip.
I like it. I like
and
it.
we went hard on it. We had to contact a few people, but we got it.
Of course. Right. So you started with content and you drove people into the community, which was Discord. Now talk to me about, we talk about content, community, and I just did a presentation where I actually used you as an example. I was like, listen, it doesn't matter. We do a lot of Facebook groups. We do a lot of Slack groups. We do a lot of text messaging, email. It's where you build your community. You decided, because crypto makes total sense to do this NFTs, to go into the Discord style. So you created content and you created enough noise where, how did you take them from there into joining the Discord? And tell me a little bit about how from once they joined the Discord, what kept the engagement there? Because a lot of people you can get 25, 50,000 people into a Discord, and then you're like, yeah, this shit looks like it's dying. I want out, and it'll kill your project. Obviously, it didn't happen with you. So tell me a little bit about that.
From driving them to Twitter to Discord, again, bringing in the other communities was the big thing. It was like we ended up collaborating with 4 other projects. So we started building that relationships with their communities pretty quickly. And it was something that nothing's ever been done on crypto.com. So we had that validity rate in the beginning. Once we got them into the Discord, another C is curiosity. So keeping that curiosity, what's next, was something that we were able to keep that momentum behind the community itself. Additionally, myself, Harry, and Ricky, the other guys on the project, we were in Discord 22 hours a day based on our schedules. Harry's up all night, I'm up early in the morning, and Ricky's up even earlier. So again, it's the communication behind, we're here, we're there, and we're ready to rock with you guys. That was the big thing. But we never announced anything, unannounced, that we were able to give up too much before we lost that momentum. And that's the big thing, because we sold out the project with only 6,500 people in the Discord too. So we had 10,000 pieces, only 6,500 people in the Discord. So based on numbers, there was just less than 2 per person. So the curiosity was a big thing. Another thing that we did, and this was, I think, especially in the NFT space, is really keeping people on their toes. Again, the curiosity, what's next, because there's so much noise behind it.
Creating events and
stuff like that. But what we didn't do is we never told people when we were doing the event. So we started calling them.
So you had to stay on.
We told them stealth spaces. So we did stealth Twitter spaces at any time, not scheduled, and then we would come in, and we started bringing in more members into our spaces than any other project, including crypto.com, because we weren't announcing a lot. We were just giving them nuggets so that when they came to us, we were able to drop really big bombs on them in the Twitter spaces. And then that created the hype behind the whole project. And it's like, holy shit, these guys are bringing in this many people, more than any other project. I'm going to join the Discord. So again, we're communicating in different ways with our content strategy to be able to continue to bring that curiosity, which is bringing the hype to the...
So you created some content, kind of simple, but kind of NLP, creating curiosity, like, the rest of the answers are kind of like a riddle inside of the Discord, and you won't know unless you get to the Discord. Then obviously it's like, hey, you also join the Discord so you can mint early, so you can get all this extra early access for other goodies, but you wouldn't announce it to keep people inside of the community and have conversations.
Correct. Discord always heard it first. Our community always heard it first. But What we did on the front end in the Twitter and then through social media, everything in our content told the story of what was actually coming. So if people really looked from we did something kind of like Squid Games. We kind of took a little piece from them where we had our characters, the cute characters, and they had numbers on the back of them. But we also put a QR code in the top corner. People obviously attracted the QR code, and that was just a hint of something that didn't really matter into the announcements. But if people looked into the micro, the numbers on the back of the shirts were the actual drop dates to the project. And we announced this weeks before we actually did it, because we didn't announce the actual dates until a week before. So again, it's kind of like creating that puzzle, creating the communication between your own community members as well. It's like, okay, there is a puzzle here. How can we work together to figure it out?
Getting a lot of shareability.
And that's where we started creating the engagement, because the community started becoming friends and family within it from all across the world, because we need to work together to try and figure these guys out, because we just don't know what's going to happen.
So we've got the content side, and then we know how you were driving people and keeping people engaged in the community. Now, it's hard, even if you have, however, 100 or 10,000 people inside of a community. How do you get them to take action? So how did you turn that into conversations that made people go out and take action? Because normally a lot of people do conversations, and it's a lot of one-to-one, and even in the NFT space, you'll see a lot of direct messages, and that's a form of conversations. You can do it in Twitter as well. You can do it in Discord also, but to go conversations at mass for a specific launch is a different strategy. So how did you guys pull that off?
Communication comes in many different forms. One for us was because we were competing against other celebrities, other projects who were already dropped projects on the platform itself. We needed that referral marketing. So we really needed to get close to our community. So when things started to happen, they started to talk about it as well. It was super important to us. So that gets you into more of the referral marketing side, which is a really good way of marketing, as you know, affiliate marketing, referral marketing, any sort of this concept. But behind the whole project is just, we were there all the time. We built the relationships, just like what you guys do with PowerHouse. It's just like you guys are there all the time, whether it's you or the rest of the team here. It's like you guys are there all the time. So people knew that what they were going to buy into was worth their time,
right,
at the end of the day. But what also is important is stacking the value on top of it. Sure, you're going to buy this, but you're also going to get this,
and
this,
you got to build scarcity. If you don't do it now, you're going to lose.
Exactly, and that's the scarcity tactic behind it. So in any NFT project, there's a limited amount. That's a uniqueness behind it. So in the first drop, we had 5,000 pieces. In the second drop, we had 9,989. So technically, it was 15,000 pieces in 2 weeks. So that's a scarcity factor. And again, we only had 6,500 people in the Discord. So how many other people outside of Discord were talking about us, considering we only had the ability for you to max mint 3. So you're only allowed to mint up to 3 NFTs at a time.
So now we've got the 3 C's. The 4 is conversion. Obviously you converted, but when we teach conversion, it's like, all right, now you're getting your money, but really conversion is like, how do we continue, right? It's a continuation. It's lifetime value in a lot of sense. It's ascension in a lot of sense. And so you guys, the way you guys did it is said, hey, we're going to have a finite amount for the first one, and then we're going to redo this in 2 weeks, which is not something that a lot of people do when they do the mutants or they do something like that. They wait a month or two and they sell way more. So I love the way that you guys did it, because you kept the hype. A lot of times the second thing dies because they're like, yo, I see it. Everybody already sold it and it went to crap. And you guys kept it up. Everything was blowing up, and then it blew up even more on the second time. So what was the strategy of converting after that?
When we first built out the marketing strategy for the first animation, which again was the storytelling behind the actual project itself, and then telling the story about the PFPs, the profile pictures, we tried to sell it out and word it in a way where it's like there's not a ton of utility. You're buying the journey and the art behind it, because of the 2 weeks behind it, we need to stack the amount of utility in those 2 weeks to keep people hyped, because as you were saying, these projects and any product can really fall off if you don't keep going. So after we sold out, which we sold out in 20 minutes on the first one, it's just like, okay, we had a lot of hype there, but secondary market, paper hands, whatever you want to call them, they were starting to sell off. But then as those people started weaning out, we were able to announce real utility behind the play to earn game, behind the ecosystem we're building, behind the digital community that we're building, behind the in real life events. So we had 2 weeks of content already prepared for those 2 weeks to really hype up the PFP at the 10,000. So again, that's how we were able to separate the two. It's like, okay, we really want to bring in people who believe in the journey, believe in the story, believe in everything that we're actually doing, and then connect with us on a personal level on the first one, and then really stack the utility and the product and the brand and what people are actually going to get between the 2 weeks, so we could really catch onto that fire that we already had.
I love it. Do you feel that, I mean, obviously we teach the C4 method everywhere, and everybody's always like, oh, it won't work for me, I'm different, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, NFTs is something that most people would be like, that won't work for NFTs. It clearly, that system worked. Do you think that there's another way to do it more efficiently? Because I think that this is the way you should build every brand.
I agree 100%. Yeah, like the content, it's super important. Communicating with your
community,
your investors, whatever you want to call them, it's super important as well. It's the only way you're going to convert
conversations,
people.
create intimacy, relationship, connectivity,
exactly.
And then you get your money, which is the conversion, and then you ascend people into more.
Exactly. Any business that I think needs to follow this model, because it's really the only way you can really have a sustainable business. Sure, you can sell on hype and sell on scarcity, but if you don't have the real validity behind the brand,
then you don't have the fifth C, which would be consistency.
Exactly.
There you go. We crushed this.
Exactly.
So, bro, tell me what is next for you and where everybody can go find you.
Well, our website's theofficialtrip.com, social media.
Theofficialtrip.com. What's the social on everything?
The Trip on Instagram, The Trip on Twitter.
You got The Trip on Insta? Boy, you connected.
You know people.
You connected.
We know people. Yeah, no. So moving forward, like now that we've got our investors in there, we're starting to build the play to earn game. So the holders of the animation scenes, there's going to be some staking involved where, again, we're working exclusively with crypto.com. So that collaboration was absolutely huge. Where, again, they're going to be able to earn what that earning is yet. We're still in the process of working with crypto.com. In terms of the profile pictures, we're creating like a mini game set. So kind of like if you go to a gambling website, we can play various games. So you can actually grow your XP of your PFP character. I wanted to take the Web3 aspect and bring it into a Web2 world to create additional value and data behind your NFT. So when people start earning in the actual ecosystem and building the XP, just like Call of Duty, Halo, any of these games that are out there, and you sell your NFT, you're also selling the data as well. So that earnings of the XP is going to earn you more in the actual game itself. And then the long-term play for us is being able to plug in extra projects as we release, or that it's on crypto.com, that we can create that battle royale style community playing, earning, whatever that aspect may be, in some sort of world on crypto.com.
I know you're also doing a lot of consulting for other NFT companies and some celebrity people that want to do NFT stuff. So if they want to find you personally, what is your Insta handle? Probably the best way to DM you is, easiest way to communicate.
Yeah, Jeff.McPharson on Instagram.
How do you spell McPherson? Because a lot of people will probably spell it wrong.
How you spell it? MC. So Jeff, JEFF.MACPHERSON, Jeff.McPherson on Instagram.
All right, guys, that is it for myself and Jeff. We will see you guys on the next one. Bye.
Appreciate you, boss.